Hey, I wanted to introduce you to one of my favorite new training tools that I just ran across earlier this year. It's called the Body Lastics resistance cables, and they are a great training tool for several reasons. For one, they're very versatile. They allow you to do a lot of different exercises. They also are very compact. They store easily. They fit in like a small duffel bag or stuff bag that you can slide under your bed or stick in a closet when you're not using it. Or in my case, because I do a lot of travel, they're very portable. You can carry them on a plane, stick them in a suitcase, whatever, and get your workouts in a hotel room. So I'm always really interested in anything like that. So I found that very appealing. Why these specifically are better than a lot of the other items on the market that are like this is that they have some features that these other elastic bands do not have. For one, they have a cord in the core of each band that is a limiter for how far you can stretch it. Overstretching the band stresses it and eventually weakens it to where it starts to break down and the band will snap. And if you've ever used an elastic band and have it snap on you, you know that can be bad news. It's painful or even dangerous. So with the cord, if the elastic were to give way, the cord keeps it from snapping. And so it actually serves two purposes. It prevents the overstretching and it acts as an anti-snap device as well. The other thing I really like about these, just in general, is the fact that they're very strong. They're a multi-layered or hand-dipped latex that gives you a lot more strength than most of the ones you're going to find like in a sporting goods or department store. And even the single heaviest band, for instance, the orange band, which is 30 pounds of resistance, feels more like 100 pounds. I mean, it's really strong. So you don't outgrow them. It's not like the ones where you have to just keep going back to the store and buying these bands over and over and over again because you keep getting stronger and then eventually hit a ceiling on it. And the reason you don't really ever reach a limit is because of the other feature that I like, which is the built-in carabiner. It has a snap connection on it that allows you to connect it to a handle or any other attachment very quickly and easily. So I can change resistance quickly by adding or removing bands. So it's a very, very nice feature. One of the main reasons that I liked it, because other bands don't offer that. They either have a built-in handle or they have a very limited number of slots available that you have to stretch the band and put it into, and it's slow and cumbersome to do and very limiting too as far as how much resistance you can use. You hit a ceiling eventually. So those are some of the features I like best about it. Very quickly I'll go over some of the accessories that come with the kits. Now if you go to BodyLastics.com, there's several different kits that are available. They run anywhere from around about $30 up to about $130. And each kit, obviously includes more bands or more resistance, but they also include different accessories or options. Now the ones that come with every kit are, of course, the handles. This is the basic accessory that you're going to use most of the time. It has a nice big strong loop on it. You can put several elastics on it and get a lot of resistance on there. The other thing that every kit's going to come with is the door anchor. And basically you have this big foam ball here with a plastic core. The webbing goes through that, and this goes on the one side of the door. You close the door, preferably on the hinge side, or a door that would open outward, away from where you're working, so that as you're pulling it, you're actually pulling the door tighter. And it's less likely that somebody would open the door. But you can use it on a door that's inward swinging and use it on the lock side. But the important thing is you want to be able to lock the door. If you can't do that, you got to make darn sure that somebody isn't going to open that door in the middle of your workout or you're going to be in trouble. So that's the door anchor. On the other end of it, it has a loop, of course, that the bands go through, and this loop has a foam lining on the inside that protects the bands from being abraded. Now, I don't think that this web material is going to really cut or hurt the bands, but it's just a nice feature that they add that on to keep the bands safe and make them last longer. And the final thing that comes with every kit is the ankle straps. Now, like with the handles, as you get a larger kit, there might be more handles included and more ankle straps, but every kit's got at least one set of handles, one set of ankle straps. These ankle straps allow you to do different exercises, like leg exercises, like say abduction, which is moving the leg away from the midline of the body, or adduction, which is drawing the leg towards you. Of course, you'd have bands anchored, and you'd either move it away from the anchor point or towards you from the anchor point. And they also have the ability to work as a band attachment point, and I can demonstrate that here shortly by running them through the loop. They're Velcro, so of course they open up, they're adjustable to fit around your ankle, but they can also go through another loop and give you an anchor point for your elastics, which is a nice feature. Now the one option that's available only with the larger kits, in fact it's only available with the largest kit, the MMA set, as my memory recalls, is the large anywhere anchor. And the large anywhere anchor is really nice because you can go around really large objects. Now, the small anywhere anchor is good because you can go around something rather small, and this is included with every kit. But it's a little bit limited as far as, like, it couldn't be anything much more than a couple inches or so in diameter by the time you were to loop it through and put your bands through it. But the large anywhere anchor, obviously you can see, would be able to go through or go around even a small tree and give you a good anchor point if you had nowhere else to connect to. Because what you don't want to do is to put your bands around something that has sharp edges, or is like, say, a flagpole that's rusted and pitted that would abrade the elastic. If you have something smooth, like a newer or you know, smoothly painted or finished metal or wood post, you know, that's you know, totally free of anything that would damage the elastic, that's fine too. But these kind of give you a little extra peace of mind, a little more flexibility for anchor points. So those are the accessories that come with the BodyLastics. And I'm going to show you now some different exercises that I like and use these for myself and for clients that that might be helpful for you, that you may not see in the manual or anywhere else. So let's move on to some of the exercises now. Okay, now for exercises, after you've seen a little bit about the capabilities of the BodyLastics and some of the features, for exercises now what I want to show you is a couple of different series of exercises or pairing of exercises that demonstrate the versatility of the BodyLastics and why they're a really great tool, especially for home training or travel. So the first thing I'm going to do is a horizontal push followed by a horizontal pull. So basically it's like a chest press followed by a row. So what I've done is I've set up my BodyLastics here with my door anchor, and to demonstrate again how the door anchor works, as you know if you've already got the BodyLastics, you have a big foam ball on the end here. I'm simply going to put that in, close the door, lock the door to be sure that it's secure. And again, I'm using, this is a steel exterior door. To get a strong door, you have to be careful. If you have a hollow core door, like at a closet or somewhere, a bedroom door, it might flex and bow a little bit, and that may not be good. So try to go with the heavier, either a solid core wood door or a steel door or something of that nature. You want to make sure you're good and tight here so it doesn't slip on you. Again, the door is locked. I'm ready to go. So I take my bands, get them evened up. And again, I always want to start with some tension on the bands. So for that purpose, from this point, I'm going to start with them at my shoulders for shoulder safety purposes. Take a step forward with a little bit of tension. Okay, now I'm ready to press. I'm in this lunge position like this so that I have good forward and backward stability. Otherwise the bands will try to pull you back toward the anchor point. Okay, so after I've done my repetitions this way, I can take a step back, takes the tension off the bands. You never want to get in a position where you're pulling the band around. Okay, you always want to step into it and then start when it comes to any kind of pressing movements. Now, as an alternative to this, what I can do is a one-arm press. So again, I'll even them up. I'll take my forward step and I'll just do one arm. Okay, and then when I finish with that arm, I'll work the left arm. All right, another variation. And in this one you want to kind of bring the band into a good stable position. Turn your body a little bit and do a rotational press. This brings a little bit of the midsection in, the rotational muscles of your core, which adds a little bit more to the exercise. To switch to the other side, I'm going to step back, step forward to the opposite leg. So right leg, left arm. And I want to follow the handle with my eyes too, so that my body turns with my head. And when I finish, I just step back. Okay? Now for the pulling portion, the rowing portion, of course I'll face the anchor point, which means I got to turn my back to the camera. And I'll stagger my stance again. And I'll pull both handles toward my rib cage, nice and smooth and easy. Again, I have tension to start with, so I have tension all the way through the movement. All right, when I'm done, I just step forward. And again, I can do a one-arm row, keeping the other arm straight. Use both arms alternately. And again, I can, of course, open up my stance a little bit more, turn my body, and do a rotational row. And again, just like with the press, when I'm ready to do my left arm, I'll step out, step back with the opposite leg, so I have right leg forward working with the left arm. I'm just pulling it to my chest, bringing it back, always recovering or returning the resistance slowly. When I'm done, I just step forward. So that's the horizontal push, horizontal pull, 3 different variations for each one. Basically, each one is a little bit of a advanced move, a progression than the previous one. You'll find it gets a little bit more difficult as you start to work individual arms, because you have to stabilize your core. To push with one side, you have to stabilize with the opposite side. So I would work first with the 2-arm, go to the single arm in the stationary position, and then go to the rotational push or pull. And that should pretty much take care of any of your horizontal pushing and pulling at that point. So now the next one we're going to look at is the vertical pull and vertical push. Okay, we just looked at the horizontal push and pull. Now we're going to demonstrate the vertical push and pull. So to do that, what we're going to do is, again, use our door anchor and get set up for the pull portion. Again, I'm using a good solid steel door. Even though this door is inward swinging, because I can secure it with this deadbolt and the lock set, I don't have to worry about anybody opening the door. Ideally, you want to use an outward swinging door and be on the opposite side so that you're pulling the door towards you, but very few of us have that luxury, so I can make do with this just fine. So I drop it over the door, the foam ball end, close my door securely, lock it. You always want to pull in your strap to be sure it's secured, ready to go. And there we go. So we're going to start with the pushing first. I have my other handles and my other bands set up here. And I'm now ready to do my vertical push. So I put the band directly under my insteps, put my feet about shoulder width apart, bring the bands up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually bring these bands up to the front like this. Alright, if you put it to the rear, what's going to happen, you're going to find that the strap, the carabiner, the loop, everything starts to drag on your elbow, your forearm, gets rather uncomfortable. So I like to go to the inside to avoid that. You get the same benefit from the exercise with a little less road rash on your arms. So we'll bring it up. You can also start down low and bring it up if it's hard for you. Whatever way works, it's probably the safest way to do it. Let your legs bring it into position. And now we're ready to press. We're going to do whatever number of reps we decided on, 8, 10, 12, whatever it might be. And when we finish, we'll come down again and take the tension off the band. So that's the vertical push or military press. Now we're going to go to the pull. So again, I'm all set up here. I just want to make sure my bands are even, make sure everything's secure. Never take anything for granted. Always make sure, again, your door is solid, it's locked, we're good to go. Nothing's changed. So now to do this, I unfortunately have turned my back toward the camera, but that's the best way to demonstrate so you can see how I set up for this. So what I'm going to do is take a step back and drop to one knee. And now I've got tension on the bands, I'm down low. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lean in so that my body is in the same line as the bands are. Now I'm ready to begin, drawing my elbows down toward my rib cage. Just like that. I'm going to exhale as I pull, inhale as I recover. When I'm finished, I'm just going to stand up, and that takes the tension off the bands, and I'm complete with that set. So I have the vertical push, the vertical pull to go along with my horizontal push and pull. Now I'll throw in some extra exercises here at the end. These are the compound exercises, the ones that use multiple joints, use bigger muscle groups. I'll throw in a little bit more shoulder work and arm work here as a bonus, just so you can see how the BodyLastics bands can work great for building up arm and shoulder strength as well. So that'll be next. Okay, now I'm going to demonstrate some of the more isolation type exercises that are using a single joint. This would be some of the shoulder movements and of course arm exercises primarily for the upper body. Everything else is going to involve multiple joints, elbow, shoulder, whatever the case may be, wrist. So I'm going to demonstrate now some additional shoulder exercises that can be done in conjunction with the vertical push that we saw. So what I'll do is I'll stand with both feet this time on my elastic. Now, depending on how far I spread my feet apart, I'll shorten up my elastics and put more tension on them as I start to raise them. So I want to get maybe about a shoulder width or a little bit more. You'll just have to experiment with that. And from that point, now I'm ready to raise the elastics to the side, just like that. Bring them up about ear level. Elbows slightly bent to keep pressure off. And that is the lateral raise. And again, exhale as we exert, inhale as we recover. Okay, now if we get a little wider stance, we can do a bent version of that as well. Okay, what you might actually want to do with the bent version though is cross over. Notice how I have these crossed. And from that, you can now do it and you'll get a little bit more tension and a little bit more realistic dumbbell type feel to it. Okay. Now the third and final exercise for the shoulders that I'll demonstrate is a front raise. So I'm going to bring my feet back to about a shoulder width spacing, and with the handles held, this time instead of not at the sides where the knuckles are going to the sides, I have knuckles forward, and I'll just simply raise the handles like that. Again, exhale, inhale. Okay, so that's the 3 additional shoulder movements, more isolating the deltoid. Now we'll look at a couple of basic arm exercises. Again, we'll stand on our band, feet about shoulder width apart, and we will do a bicep curl. Exhale as we raise it or exert. Inhale as we lower it. If you find you're not getting enough tension, simply widen your stance a little bit. That'll shorten up the elastics, and yeah, that's better. Now I have a little bit more tension on it. Try to get a full range of motion with that in every exercise. Now that's for the biceps on the front of your arm. Back of the arm, triceps. What we can do is bring the bands like this. Again, I'm standing about shoulder width apart, and I can do a French press or an extension. The other thing I can do is take my elastic, put it through the loop on my door, and do an extension this way away from the door. Works basically the same thing. It's an elbow extension, a tricep exercise. So those are the basic exercises you can do using the BodyLastics for the upper body. Now I'll, sometime in the very near future, go through a series of exercises for core, and a series of exercises for the lower body or the legs. And I'll probably do that all together because I like working the core with the legs, because the core stabilizes as you do a lot of your leg exercises, so it kind of makes sense to put them all together. So that's upper body, and I hope you enjoyed that, benefited from that. And if you have any questions, you can contact me at outsideofthegym.com. You'll see there's a link there, info@outsideofthegym.com. If you have questions or comments or want to know more about different exercises or Body Lastics or anything else, just give me a shout. Thank you.